Hello, hello, hello. How do you do? I'm glad to be with you, with you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, wherever you are. It's another wonderful time on the Grace Impact Radio where words, music, and entertainment lives. This place, we give it raw, we give it hot from the oven. You don't want to miss any program on Grace Impact Radio. Stay glued to this station and you will gain a lot. Today is another wonderful day on the Financial Intelligence Moment with the FBI coach. My name is Charles Eze. I'm glad to have you here. I'm happy you're connecting, you are listening to me, and those viewing from Facebook and those viewing from YouTube, I appreciate every one of you. I appreciate my returning subscribers on YouTube, and I also want to encourage you, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. The YouTube channel is FBI Coach. One word, FBI Coach. So subscribe because I drop content every now and then that will change your life, that will transform your life and move you from point A to point B, that will add to your knowledge, to the things which you know, to the things which you're already doing. Now, basically what I do is that I help my clients increase influence and also help them or teach them how to make money from what they are passionate about through my specialized online courses. That's basically what I do. I teach people how to make money, how to manage money, and how to multiply money. That's why they call me the FBI coach. By the way, FBI stands for Financial and Business Intelligence. Now, it's not the American FBI, which you know. This is my own Nigerian FBI, Financial and Business Intelligence Coach. That's what I do. I teach people how to magnetize money. When they magnetize this money, they need to manage it. And when they manage it, they need to multiply it. That's what I do. And I believe you'll gain a lot from me on this place. So please tell me where you're viewing from. Don't forget to also drop your favorite emoji, I beg your pardon, for those viewing on Facebook and on YouTube. Then those listening on the Mixer app, I appreciate every one of you for joining me on the Grace Impact Radio today. Please share this link with as many persons, as many to every nook and cranny of the online space. Share the link, share it with your friends, share it with your loved ones, share it with your friends, share it with your family members, even your enemies, because that will make them be at peace with you. Thank you very much for hanging out. We have been on a journey. We've been reviewing the book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And I said to us that if you have read this book before, it's another time to review it again. And if you haven't read it, it's a time for you to follow me on this journey. And I recommended you read only one chapter a week. There are 13 principles Napoleon Hill shared in this book that changes the life of people. I read this book 4 years ago, either 4 or 5 years ago. I read this book for the first time. And from that time to now, I have read it like 4 times. I'm reading it. This is the 5th time. And before the end of this year, I'm going to read this book 3 times. I'm going to read this book 3 times. The principles in this book are mind-boggling. They are mind-stretching. It cures brocolysis. Brocolysis is the art of being broke. This book will teach you how to magnetize money. This book will teach you how to become wealthy. This book will teach you how to multiply, manage the money you have and multiply it. We have reviewed from chapter 1 to chapter 6. There are 6 chapters already done and dusted, reviewed. People are sharing testimonies from it. So if you have missed any of this, please go to my YouTube channel, FBI Coach. One word, you will see the review, you will see the past editions, so take time out and digest it, enjoy it, and get your mind soaked, get your mind renewed by the things which I have shared from this book. This book, one of the books that made me wealthy, that transformed my financial life, is this book. Was it the last edition or the last two editions? I talked about the 5 books that changed the course of my life, that changed my destiny forever. And number 1 book is this one, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Number 2 is Secret of the Millionaire Mind by Harv Eker. Number 3 book is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Number 4 is Business of the 21st Century by Robert Kiyosaki. And number 5, Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattle. These are the 5 books that transformed everything about my life. If you haven't read any of these books, please read them. And if you have read them before, it's a good time to read them again. I'm reading through these books again, these 5 books that made me millions. I'm reading through them again. I started with this. Once I'm done reviewing this book, I move to Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattle. When I'm done with that, now there is a way I teach people how to read book. See, if you're the type that you find it difficult to read book, then you need to be under my tutelage. You need to be under my mastermind group so that I can teach you how to read books. But let me just share this now. If you have a book, this one is about 290 pages. Okay. What do? You ask yourself, how many days do you want to read this book? So let's say you want to finish this book in 10 days. So what do? You divide 290 divide by 10. So every day you are to read 29 pages. I didn't say chapters, 29 pages. So you open from the preface, you read 29 pages. You are done for the day. Now, if it's getting a bit difficult for you, you can divide the 29 into 2. You can read 10 in the morning and read 9, and read the remaining 9 at night. Did I say 9? So read the remaining 19 at night. Okay, that's how you do it. And before you know it, you have finished the book. It's interesting to read. It's very, very interesting. So once I'm done with this, I will go over the remaining books. So today, we'll be reviewing a few things which Napoleon Hill have talked about in this book, and we're on chapter 7. Chapter 7 spoke about organized planning. That's what chapter 7 is all about. He titled it Organized Planning, this crystallization of desire into action. The crystallization of desire into action. And he says, this is the 6th step to riches. This is the 6th step to riches. Now, Napoleon Hill notes that every well-built house started with a definite plan in a form of blueprints. And the good book says, will a man build a house and first of all not sit down to count the cost? This chapter talks about planning. Okay, and there is someone which Napoleon Hill mentioned in this book, or he quoted in this book. His name is Fitzhugh. Yeah, Fitzhugh is of the view that without goals and plans to achieve our desires, we are like a ship that has no bearing. We are like a ship that has not set its destination. See, I tell people, once you set your sail, God will send the wind. You don't have any right to ask. You don't have any right to become wealthy if you have not asked for help. You don't have any right to say, I am achieving this, I'm achieving that, without setting a clear plan on how to achieve it. That's what Napoleon Hill is trying to say in this book. You see, this chapter reiterates the need to have a precise plan on how to set out with how to achieve our goals. How to achieve our goals. You need to have a clear plan. How do I want to achieve my goals? What do I want to do today? Some people, they wake up, they live their life like simple pendulum, tossing to and fro without any direction, without any purpose in mind, without, you must have a clear plan. What do I want to achieve today? What do I want to do today? And the best way to do that is to plan your day a day before. So yesterday, I planned the things I want to do today. This night, I'll plan the things I want to do tomorrow. See, even if the things you have been doing, it comes as a routine, the same routine over and over and over and over again, still write it down, still plan it. Plan it. You already know the things you want to do tomorrow, still put it down on the paper. And the digital world has made it a lot easier for us that we can have on our smartphone, we can have a planner, a calendar, have a jotter, which you write down, where you write down the things you want to do. Okay, so there is no excuse. The good book says, oh man, you are inexcusable. You are inexcusable. You don't have any excuse. You don't have any right to say, I am failing, I am not making it. The resources to achieve your goal, to achieve your plans are right there before you. So what makes us break seemingly obstacle is our planning. If you can plan, you can break obstacles. It is, however, important to note that sharing our plans with members of our team can help us grow. And Napoleon Hill called it the mastermind group. You need to have a mastermind group where you share your plans. Frankly speaking, this chapter covers a lot of territory, from mastermind groups to how to write a winning bio. And also it provides a list of 11 attributes, characteristics of leadership. And these characteristics, these attributes of good leadership are, number one, he called it unwavering courage. Let me be sure. Yes, number one, unwavering courage. Number two, self-control. Number three, keen sense of justice. You must have a very keen sense of justice. Number four, definiteness of decision. You must be such that have a definite decision process. Then number five is definiteness of plans. Definiteness of plans. Number six is the habit of doing more than you are paid for. The habit of giving more use value than cash value. Number seven is pleasing personality. Your personality must be pleasing. Your personality must be attractive. Then number eight, he called it sympathy and understanding. You must be such a leader that have sympathy. You must be a leader that have good understanding. Then number nine, he called it mastery of detail. You must be detailed. You must understand how to pay attention to details. These are skills you can learn. Number 10, he called it willingness to assume full responsibility. Then number 11, cooperation. You must learn to cooperation. Now, in this today's training, I will break down. I'll focus on number five. Number five, a bit. I'll focus on it a bit because the 11 attributes of leadership which Napoleon Hill listed is quite enormous, is quite broad. So we can't cover everything on this edition, but because the title talks about organized planning, I'm going to focus on number five. And number five says definiteness of plan. Now, why we need to have plan, the importance of planning and all that. So let's get into the definiteness of plan. From definition here, he said the successful leader must plan the work and walk the plan. The successful leader must plan the work and work the plan. A leader who moves by guesswork without practical, definite plans. Without practical, definite plans is comparable to a ship without a rudder. Is comparable to a ship that is moving without direction. Is comparable to a ship that has not set its sail and is expecting the wind to work in its favor. You know, sooner or later, he will land on the rocks. That's what Napoleon Hill said. You know, so failing to plan is a problem. It's a number one problem which we must deal with. Okay? Failing to plan. You know, there's this cliche or there's this phrase that says, he that has failed to plan has only succeeded to fail. Okay? But failing to work the plan is the major, is problem number two. Now, planning to fail is problem number one. Then failing to work the plan is problem number two. Is one thing to plan to fail, is another thing to have a plan, but you are not working out your plan. Too often, when we plan, when a plan is developed, it is set aside after serving an initial purpose of what? Envisioning the success of the business. Just set it aside. You know, it's okay to do that, you know, but you need to ask yourself, what's my strategy for execution? How do I want to execute this thing that I'm putting down on paper? You know, so I'm going to share a few things to help us understand this particular number 5, the definiteness of plan. You know, now you need to, there is something which Napoleon Hill said that I'm trying to quote. It's so important that I mention this. Okay, he said, a quitter never wins and a winner never quits. A quitter never wins and a winner never quits. Those who quit never succeed at anything. So you must align yourself with mastermind groups. You must align yourself with a group of persons. You know, you must have an inner circle. Those you communicate with to ensure the viability of your action plans. You must share your plan with someone. You must share your plan with a group of people. You must share your plan with an accountability partner to ensure that you are aligning. You know, it is said that if you want to go very fast, you go alone. But if you want to go very far, you go in group, you go with people. No tree can make a forest. So you need to work with other people. You need to decide, and not just working with people, you also need to decide what compensation will be given to members of your mastermind group in return for their cooperation. In other words, when people are working with you, you must also look for a way to give back into their life, to ensure that you are not just taking, but you are depositing into their emotional bank account. Like Stephen Covey said in a book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That book also made a lot of magic in my life. Okay, so learn to deposit into other people's emotional bank accounts, and you must ensure continuous meeting with this group of people. You meet like once or 2 times in a week. You make sure that you discuss, you make sure that nobody, no individual on earth has sufficient experience or skills to ensure the actualization of great fortune without cooperation with others. You need to cooperate with others. There's nobody that can achieve anything magnificent thing without cooperation of others. And he also talked about trial and error. If the plan you adopt doesn't work successfully, what did he say? He says, replace it with a new plan. If that one still doesn't work, replace it with yet another plan. If it doesn't work, replace it with another plan until you get the one that works. You change the strategy, but the principle remains the same. You change the strategy, but the principle remains the same. So for the fact that this plan did not work doesn't mean it's not going to work anymore. There are so many ways to kill a rat. So you keep changing the plans, you keep changing the processes, but the principle remains what? The same. And by he said that by an iterative, process based on trial and error is how nature is built. Okay. Now, you must understand that it is a natural process to ensure all existing things are in harmony. You must ensure that all your plans are in harmony. You must ensure that whatever you have written down are knitting together to achieve a common plan, a common goal. And that common goal is what? Success. He said something about temporary defeat. He said temporary defeat is when your plan doesn't work. Then the only means your plan is not sound enough is because you have not looked at other ways to make the plan work. You just have to keep trying until the right one works, until the right plan kicks in. So organized planning has a lot to do with, it's not just making a New Year resolution. It's not just deciding, I want to do this. It's not just deciding, okay, making up your mind, I want to do this, I want to do that. But you must follow through with action. You must follow through with what? Action. This plan, okay, there is also the planning circle. Planning is a circle, and it keeps moving. It keeps moving. The circle of planning is from envision state. Then you move to assessing the current state. The envision state is before you plan, before any plan can be drafted, you have to envision what it is you want to achieve at the end. You must have the end in mind. You must ask yourself, what do I want to achieve? What do I want to get? What's the milestone I want to achieve at the end of this? What is the vision? Imagine you have completed a journey. Just imagine it. What does it look like? A perfect day, what does it look like to you? How can you achieve a perfect day? What results are you looking to expect? Are you expecting to achieve? So as a result of your mind being there, in other words, as a result of your mind being there, you see your body going there. In other words, you need to get there in your mind before your body gets there. So you must envision the end of the planning before you start. Then the second stage is to assess your current state. Assess your current state. Now, once we have envisioned the end of this, the end state, we are now eager to just get going, either moving straight to executing the plan, or we are jumping into the planning without taking a full inventory of the current situation. So once you have envisioned the end state, the next thing is to take a full inventory of what is currently on ground, your current snapshot. We get into car without considering the fact that the tires are down, the tires are flat. We get into car without considering, oh, I don't have enough gas to embark on this journey. We just turn on the ignition and we are driving 3,000 miles. You need to slow down, slow down. Invest time upfront to take an honest, critical assessment of your current state. For example, in your financial life, you want to earn $1 million by December 2022. Now, you need to do an in-depth assessment. What is your current state? What is your current state? See, the end vision, the end state is the $1 million. Then you need to do an assessment of your current state. You need to know where you are. A man who does not know where he is not qualified for help. If you're asking someone to help you, or you place a call across to me and say, Charles, please tell me where, I want to come to where you are. The first question I will ask you is, where are you? If I don't know where you are, I will not be able to give you proper direction. So you need to know your current state. You need to know your current financial state. Then you now move you to the third stage is agree on the gaps. Agree on the gaps. There are gaps. Fine, I need $1 million between now and December 2022. What gaps do I need to fill in order to achieve this? What gaps, what problems am I supposed to solve? What skills can I acquire before achieving this $1 million? You know, see, in business or in personal planning, you must fill up the gaps. You must fill up the gaps. Yes, we have a plan in place. Yes, we know what we want to achieve. So you need to identify. That's why you need to know your current state. You need to assess your current state. Once you assess your current state, it will show you the gaps that need to be filled. You can't do that if you don't know, if you can't achieve your $1 million goal if you don't fill in the gaps. If you don't fill in the gaps, then that moves you to number 4. Devise a plan to close the gaps. Devise a plan to close the gaps. Now you are ready to develop the plan. Plans don't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be ambiguous. It doesn't have to be lengthy. But they do have to be what? Actionable. Your plans must be actionable. Napoleon Hill says in this book, just a minute, he says that if you plan without executing, you are like, let me paraphrase, it's like pouring a water on a stone, and after a while, it dries up. It dries up. The most intelligent man living cannot succeed in accumulating money, nor in any other undertaking without plans. The most intelligent man that is living cannot succeed in accumulating money, nor in any other undertaking without what? Plans, which are practical and workable. It is not enough for you to have plans, but you must have plans that are practical and plans that are workable. You must have concrete plans in place. You must identify how to close these gaps. What gaps have you identified? I want $1 million. You assess your current state. You identify the gaps. Then number 4 is to devise plans to close these gaps. Now, when you have devised plans to close these gaps, you move to number 5. Number 5 on the 5th on the circle is to execute the plan. If all you do is develop a plan, there is some value. There is some value because you have at least critically thought about the end of the state, critically thought about what you need to achieve ahead of time. So now it is part of your psyche. You have developed your psyche. Now it's not about what you have made, but whom you have become. Even if the plan is buried somewhere and you don't work it anymore, but it has developed your psyche. Okay. So, but much more than that, you need to start executing your plan. You need to start putting some work to act. You need to start putting some things to action. You need to start working it out. Working it out. If you say things, you don't work it out, you will not achieve it. So first thing you need to do is to have the end in mind. You must envision the end. Then the next thing to do is to identify your current state. And the third thing to do is to identify the gaps. The fourth thing to do is to close up these gaps. What skills do I need to learn? What experience do I need to acquire? Who will I need to partner with? What trainings do I need to go for? What mentorship, what mentorship do I need to acquire at this time? Then number 5, you execute the plan. You execute the plan. It's very important. You follow these 5 processes. If you follow this, there is nothing you plan to do that you will not execute. By the way, a plan is no guarantee of success. I'll say that again. A plan is no guarantee of success. Napoleon Hill takes time to explain this in the book. You know, he says that plan is not a guarantee of success. He said temporary defeat should mean only one thing: the certain knowledge that let me read it so that I will not misquote it. It says the certain knowledge that there is something wrong with your plan. Temporary defeat should only tell you that there is something wrong with your plan. Temporary defeat doesn't mean you should give up. Temporary defeat should only wake up your RAS, your reticular activating system, to start thinking, what other ways can I make this thing better than how it used to be? What can I do better? What didn't work? How can I make it work this time around? You know, that's what Napoleon Hill was talking about. Then, going by the attributes of leaders, which Napoleon Hill talked about, one of the key things you must also learn as you go into planning is to mitigate risk. The importance of measuring progress is to know if you are moving in the right direction or not. If you are moving in the right direction, you keep moving. But if you are not, you adjust. So you need to learn to mitigate risk. You need to ask yourself, what checks and balances do I need to put in place? How do I measure my progress? How do I measure my growth? Don't wait until the end before you ask, did I make it? Did it work? Did I measure up? What did I do right? What did I do wrong? So as you keep moving, you are asking, you are analyzing, you are checking up yourself. You know, just like in project management, you can't carry out a project until you get to the end before you start asking. No. Until you start asking, what did I do right? Well, no, it's not like that. As you are carrying out a project, or you keep measuring your growth. You know, you have indices, you set out processes to measure each milestone you cover, each phase you cover. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? What worked? What didn't work? It's very important. A plan at its core or at its beginning is like a forecast. At its beginning is like a forecast. You are not clear about it. You know, like a forecast is filled with assumptions, educated guesses. But you don't give up. You don't say, because these are just guesses, I give up. No, as a matter of fact, planning is a simple definition of faith. Planning is a simple definition of faith. So you're asking yourself, how will this assumption work? What happens if they didn't work? What happens if it works? So you're asking yourself several questions. Now, what you need to do at this point is to put some checks and balances to help you mitigate risk, to help you correct errors you will encounter on your way. Now, when it comes to risk, we have two choices. Proactively plan for it, or you react when it occurs, when it happens. You are either proactively planning for the risk ahead of time, or you are being reactive. You react when it happens. You start, oh, what did I do? Oh, what am I going to do? Oh, this has happened. Oh, that has happened. No, you don't have to be reactive. That's one of the attributes of a leader. For you to succeed in your business, for you to succeed in whatever it is you are doing as an employee, as an employer, as a business person, an entrepreneur, whatever it is you do, there must be planning in place. There must be planning. The best approach is to proactively plan for it. In doing so, you are considering a few things. Number one thing you consider, what is the assumption? You're asking yourself, what is the plan? Number two, if this assumption proves incorrect, what risk does it introduce into our plans? My goal is to make $1 million between now and December 2022. So what are the risks I'm bound to face on this journey? What are the risks? And what will I do? What will I introduce into my plan to help me mitigate this risk? Number one risk is your mind telling you, that money is not achievable. It's not possible for you to achieve that 1 million. See, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So what plans do I have in place to put that in check? I need to keep motivating myself. I need to keep reassuring myself. I need to keep telling myself the truth that I can achieve it. I can make it. If other people did it, I can do it. You see? Then number three, you're asking yourself, what is the likelihood that this risk will occur? And you are scaling, you are rating it on the high, medium, and low scale. What's the likelihood that this risk will occur? Will it occur? The answer is yes. There are risks. There are risks. Let me use that word. You must encounter risk. Now, this risk I'm encountering, is it on the high level, on the medium level, on a low level? So you must analyze that. You put it down on the paper. You know, this is how to mitigate risk. You know, when it comes to, these are some of the things we use in project management. Then you ask yourself, what is the impact of this, what is the impact of this risk, if at all it occurs? What's going to be the impact on my life? What's going to be the impact on my business? What's going to be the impact on achieving my $1 million goal? Then you rate it. The impact, is it going to be high? Is it going to be medium? Is it going to be low? Are you getting value from what I'm sharing? I want to read from you in the comment section. And please remember to share this link, share it with your friends, share it with your loved ones, share it with your enemies as well, so they can be at peace with you. Let's invite others to come and learn from what we are sharing. Okay, let's be a blessing wholesale. So what's going to be the likelihood of this risk if peradventure it occurs? Then number 5, you're asking yourself, what will you do to avoid the risk altogether or minimize its impact? What will I do? You know, sometimes people just ask themselves only that question. What will I do to avoid the risk? But before asking yourself, what will you do to avoid the risk? You need to ask those other questions, those preceding questions. What is the assumption? If this assumption proves incorrect, will it introduce any risk? And if this risk occurs, is it going to be high risk, medium risk, or low risk? And what's going to be the impact of this risk on me, on my business, on my finance, on my family? What's going to be the impact before you run to the last one that says, what can I do to avoid this risk? Or what can I do to minimize it? Sometimes you might not even avoid the risk entirely, but you can minimize it. You can reduce the impact of the risk on your life. So what am I going to do to reduce the impact of this risk in my life? You know, so there is no way you can plan and you have your plan without a threat, which is risk. Risk must occur. You must factor risk in your planning. If you don't factor risk in your planning, then you have not planned. Is it clear? No, but if you consider risk as one of the major things that can stop you, and you believe so much in it, it will stop you. The essence of identifying the risk is for you not to be taken unawares, for you not to be reactive, rather you become proactive. Oh, I have already planned for this. You know, when you are watching a movie and the actor is just moving smoothly, before the people, before the enemies come through this way to waylay him, he has already made a plan. Sometimes they want to take him unawares, but he still finds a way to wiggle himself out of that situation. That is planning for risk. You know, another challenge is that we are too busy to plan. We are too busy to plan. Early in my career, someone who sat next to me, you know, had a sign of on his cubicle, you know, I'm trying to, you know, we had an open office, so we share cubicle. Everybody have his own corner. So he had this inscription on his cubicle that says, "We are too busy to do it right the first time, but we are never too busy to do it over and over again." Every morning I read out statement, you know, it never made any sense to me. I asked him then, what's the meaning of this? He said, read it again and again and again. No, so it was after I left the paid employment, that statement started making sense to me, that we are too busy to do the right thing the first time, but we are never too busy to do it over and over and over again to get it right. And that's what this book is all about. That even if you did it the first time, you didn't get it, don't give up. Don't be too busy to do it over and over and over again, you know, until you get the right result. So you must commit yourself. You must commit yourself to growing. You must commit yourself to ensuring that a lot is transformed in your life, not just your life, but the life of those around you. Then on the other side, there are some important causes of failure, you know, causes of failure. Okay, before I talk about the causes of failure, let me talk about the attributes of leadership. There are two types of leadership he talked about in this book: leadership by consent and leadership by force. Being the first one, being a leader by consent means you buy into the mind, into the will of the people. Then a leader by force is one who imposes his will over the people, and he used Adolfus Hitler as an example, who was a leader by force, and he said, in fact, leadership by force will not endure. It will not last long. It will not stand the test of time, So he talked about a few qualities, qualities that are important to leadership attributes, and he talked about unwavering courage. A good leader must have an unwavering courage. A good leader must have an unwavering courage. Then he also talked about self-control. A good leader must have good self-control. You must control yourself. Then he talked about a keen sense of justice. A good leader must have what? Keen sense of justice. Then definiteness of plan and decision, which we have talked about. You must have the habit of doing more than you are paid for. These are the attributes of leaders. Then on the other side, there are some important causes of failure. Number one is fear of competition from followers. Fear of competition from followers. There are some leaders that are afraid because their followers are rising so fast. So they are afraid of their success. That's a bad attribute of a leader. And selfishness. Then you want to show off authority, and disloyalty. These are some of the bad attributes of leaders. Now, he talked about the 30 major causes of leader, 30 major causes of failure, but I'm not going to go through them. I want you to read this chapter 7, so you can say these attributes. But there's an important exercise that we need to. Okay, he said that the important exercise is that we need to go over them on frequent basis, so we can see where we need gaps, where we are lacking behind, so we can make amendments. To avoid this, there is self-analysis questionnaire for inventory. For you to avoid all these 30 problems, these 30 bad qualities, there are a few things you need to ask yourself on daily basis. Number one is ask yourself, have I delivered service to the best of my quality? Have I delivered service to the best of quality, or to the best quality? Secondly, you ask yourself, have I delivered service in the greatest quality and eliminated procrastination? Procrastination is the thief of time. So have I delivered this service in the greatest quality that is expected of me as a leader? And have I been able to eliminate procrastination? Then the third thing the third self-assessment is to ask yourself, have I worked in perfect harmony with my mind, with others around me? Then the fourth one, have I been persistent? Have I been persistent? Have I been consistent in the things I do? So this chapter is so deep. Yeah, and he also talked about, okay, at the beginning, he talked about how to create or how to set up a great biodata. I mean, you need to read this chapter. You need to read this chapter. If you are you are thinking of how to write your CV, a catching CV, the process is in this book, is in this chapter 7. You are planning to sell services. There's a few things which he talked about. The 10 major causes of failure in leadership. Okay, we're not going there. There's something I'm looking for. When and how to apply for a position. He talked about it in this book. This chapter is so informative. Information to be supplied in a written CV. That is, when you are putting up your CV, there are a few things you must talk about: your education, your experience, your references, apply for a specific position, the state, the quality of what you want to give back to the society. I mean, it's so deep. Yeah. So take time out and read this chapter 7, which he called the 6th step to getting rich. I believe you got value from what I've shared with you today. Did it make sense to you? I want you to go through this video over and over again. Now, if you're listening on the Grace Impact Radio, you can catch the video, the repeat broadcast on my YouTube channel, FBI Coach. One word, FBI Coach. You also have the opportunity to go through other editions, other reviews which I have made on this channel. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. It's been my pleasant pleasure and a privilege to be your host today. My name remains Charles Eze. They call me the FBI Coach. Like I said earlier, what I do is to help my client to increase influence and also help them make more money from what they are passionate about. So whatever you are passionate about, whatever you love doing, my trainings help you to monetize your skill. My trainings help you to monetize your knowledge. My training help you to fine-tune that thing and make a lot of money from it. I teach you how to make money, how to manage money, and how to multiply money. Until I come your way again, remain financially intelligent and also get out of one income stream, because one income stream is dangerous. Thank you very much and have a pleasant day. Bye.